Today, we're discussing the lens that I wanted to hate. And I tell you, I sent this lens back, thought I'd never own it again, ended up repurchasing it, and I love it. It's my favorite lens now. So with that, we'll talk about it. And I usually film myself on it, and that's why it's one of my favorite lenses. But today, I'm using the 40mm F2 SE attached to the Nikon ZF, and we're going to talk about this bad boy. The 18mm F1.4 XF WR LM. Yeah, it's a mouthful. What that all means, as Flossie Carter would say, flagship specs, bro. Flagship specs. But what it really means is that we have an 18mm lens, 27mm focal length, f1.4 aperture, really fast aperture. WR means water resistant. LM means linear motor. Linear motor is one of the fastest focusing motors you can have in a camera lens. So again, that means flagship specs. Flagship specs. So let's get into the nitty gritty. Roll the footage. Now that I got my audio synced, we can get started. If you didn't know, I got a microphone. Okay, let me get it out of the shot again. Hopefully the mic is not casting a shadow on me. I'm still working through all the logistics with my new setup. But I have the Rode pod mic up here on the Rode arm going into a Scarlett Solo into my computer and recording. We're gonna see if I know how to lay tracks. Yeah, I have backup audio on the shotgun mic here, but it's gonna sound like hot garbage. So I'll probably have to refilm this if it doesn't sound good. It be's what it be's. Welcome back to another video. I got some exciting stuff for the studio. As you can see, I am looking a little bit brighter. I got myself a tube light on this side, freestanding. I'm gonna give you guys an overview of that at some point. I got my nice light, but I'm also using the Nikon ZF today to record because I have the XH2, my main recording camera, in my hand at the moment. Alright, first things first, build quality. Now, I could take this thing off of here, but I want you to see what it would look like on a camera that I'm going to hold it on. The build quality of this bad boy is phenomenal. All metal construction, really nice. Let me see if I hold this up to the mic. Really nice, quiet focus ring. Let me get the clicky. Really nice, clicky aperture ring that also locks. And when you lock it in the A mode, you don't run the chance of accidentally switching it to f16, for example, and ruining your shot. I often run my aperture in A mode. It's funny. It's really funny. Like, I have all these cameras, except for this one, that are all manual dials. This is the only camera that I have that doesn't have all manual dials on the top. I never use the manual dials. I just like the way they look. I'll be honest with you. I set my Fuji cameras normally to A here, and then set the command dial to actually change the aperture. I also set the ISO, and it's the front dial. I also set the ISO to, with the push of the button, or on the ISO button here to change it manually. And I just work in manual mode, to be honest with you. Full manual mode, but I use the wheels. I just like the way the cameras look. I really can't explain it. This is the only non-manual dial camera I have. I love this camera because I have the seven custom settings, and I can set all my different record options up in pretty quick succession, and I don't have to ever change them. Once I set them up, I just move the dial. 4K 60, 4K 24, 120, 240, and away you go. So I really don't change the stuff on the dial because I don't want to bring my eye off the camera to make the adjustments to put it back up. But I just like them. So that's build quality, and the longest build quality you ever heard. If I didn't mention, the 18mm f1.4 is 27mm focal length on this body, and I really love the 27mm focal length because it's not so wide that you get that long face distortion that you would get on, like, say, a 20mm. But at 27, it's not too, like this 40mm, I had to back the camera way up. So even though I'm using a shotgun mic, it's gonna sound like hot garbage because it's too far away from my face. I'll hope this mic actually works. So far it seems like it is. So we'll keep trying. I really prefer this 18mm, 27mm focal length. No long faces, no distortion on the faces, yet I'm able to still film myself, touch the camera to turn it off, get up close to it when I need to, see if I'm in focus. It's just an easy lens to use when you're filming yourself. So this lens it's amazing for that. So for all the nerds out there, let's go into like the nitty gritty. I don't really care about this stuff, I'll be honest with you. If the lens it looks good to me and it produces images that I find pleasing, I don't really give a shit. If it has chromatic abbreviations, oh my god, Lightroom takes all that crap away anyway. Just calm down, people. Calm down. You guys need to relax. Get all uptight about, oh my god, it doesn't have the ED coatings on it. Oh, I can't use that lens. Bullshit. I just pulled out a 28mm from 1990 and it produced some amazing images. It's got 15 elements in 9 focus groups, including 3 aspherical elements and 1 ED element. Like I said, it's a 27mm focal length in full frame equivalent. It's got a 76.5 degree angle of view, f1.4 fastest aperture, f16 slowest aperture, 9 rounded blades, which isn't bad. It's not as many as the 11 that I have in the 56mm. It does produce very great bokeh, very good bokeh, very low cat's eye or soap bubble type issues. The minimum focus range is 20 centimeters, so obviously it's a wide angle lens. It does focus up quite close, which is another reason why I like using it on the channel, because I can do product showcase stuff without worrying about it being in focus. It is 68.8 millimeters by 75.6 millimeters. It's 370 grams. I don't know why we have to do all this shit in the metric system. This is America, but well, never mind. These are made in Japan. I stand corrected. So, I mean, you know, on paper, fantastic lens as well. And I consider this in my holy trinity of Fuji lenses, to be honest with you. I'll quickly say what that is. 18mm F1.4 RWR-LM, 33mm F1.4 RWR-LM, and the 56mm 1.2 RWR. Those are my holy trinity of Fuji prime lenses. And I also use the 35mm f2 and the 27mm 2.8 because I'm a street photographer and you don't need those lenses when you're out on the street, especially in the daylight. At night you might. Okay, as you can see, I'm all hopped up on a little bit of caffeine right now. Let's get back to it. In the real world, how does it work? I mean, because you can all these things on paper don't really matter until you get to the real world and you actually use the camera. And when I first bought this lens, I just thought it was just too wide, to be honest with you. And really and truly, it wasn't too wide. What the problem was is that I had not matured as a photographer. It's my fault. It is, because this lens is perfect at 27mm. And I shouldn't have had any issues with it back then. I just wasn't really used to the focal length. When I got the Nikon ZF and I got the 28mm f2.8 several months back, before I idiotically sold it and then rebought it, yeah, whatever. I started to fall in love with that 28mm focal length, especially in places like San Francisco, New York, Rome, things where you need that kind of focal length. I'm just in anyway and too much. Let's just keep going. Let's look at the actual script, guys. Let's do that. Like I said, it has a really good close focus distance, and at f1.4, when you focus that close, you would get really good bokeh. Of course, it being a wide angle lens, you start to back away from the subject, you start to lose that background separation, and your bokeh doesn't look as good, but that's because it's a wide angle lens. If you want that, pick up the 56mm or the 33. I'll be honest with you, I often film my YouTube videos at f1.4 or 1.8, and it just produces a great, and this is really good background separation. Being an f2 lens on full frame, it's amazing. I would say this 18mm at f1.4 or 1.8 is pretty similar to this at f2 on a full frame, but I gotta say, I'm liking Nicky Boy. Nicky Boy is Nicky Boy. I wish I would have bought both these cameras side by side. I could have changed my mind. I would have you never know. I could have changed my mind. Whatever. I have them all, and I'm gonna keep them all. Don't hold me to that. Do not hold me to that, because I probably won't. The other thing is it was made for this 40 megapixel sensor, and the one on here and the X-T5 and the newer generation of Fujifilm APS-C bodies, so it will resolve that 40 millimeters perfectly. I don't really own any lenses that will not resolve that anymore, like say the kit lens that used to come on the cameras before they just put out the new kit lens that I haven't tried yet. I'd say the 16 to 80 f4, I would put that on these camera bodies. I know they sell it as a kit lens, but it's soft, and the stabe, internal stabe, and the OIS of it don't sync well. It's, yeah, I wouldn't do it. All right, digressing. Video performance. As you well know, this is my primary video lens, and the video is amazing. The focusing is amazing. It's always got an eye on my box, a box on my eye. A box on my eye, and it's always focuses really easily on me. It's really sticky focus. Even if I have something like right here, even if I have something like right here, I've done like peace signs like right here, and it still catches my eye and not my hand. It's got really good focus, really good bokeh, really good background separation, really good roll off, and it's just a really silent focusing lens, and it's close, so I can hit the record button and step away and be able to utilize it. So all in all, it's a great setup, great lens for video. I highly recommend it, especially if you're doing wide angle stuff, or you want to be close to your subject. If you're filming like a music video, I plan on using this on a music video coming up pretty soon. That I've started filming some with the DJI, but I really want to get into the actual music video, and I want to use this 18mm and this XH2 on my Weeble gimbal over there, because God knows this ZF will not balance on that gimbal. I've tried it before. Man, I miss filming with this bad boy. What's up? What's up, Nikki? How you doing, Nikki boy? So let's bring it home. I don't need to make these things long and drawn out. It's a great lens. It's a fantastic lens. It is one of Fuji's. It's probably one of Fuji's top lenses. If you look this lens up, you're going to see great reviews on this lens. I'm telling you, for video, it's hands down probably the best lens in Fuji's lineup, in my opinion, especially the X mount system. I'd say the 33mm F1.4 is probably my favorite lens, not my most used lens. Probably this 18mm, 100%. The best lens I own, 56mm F1.2, hands down. Favorite lens, 33mm, because I love the 50mm focal length, and 18mm is certainly my most versatile lens, because it's great for video. I mean, it is a bit on the expensive side, but it does go on sale quite a bit, so you can watch out for the sales. I'd highly recommend it. I'd highly recommend it if you're into wide angle stuff, if you want to get into video and you're using Fuji, this is the lens for you. Now, it is, like I said, it's a bit on the expensive side, so if you can't afford this lens, or it's kind of a bit out of your price range even used, you can look at other options. Well, there is an 18mm f2, but I think it's pretty pricey because it's such a small lens. So I would venture to say that it'd be worth saving your money up for this bad boy. As far as wide angles go, there's not a lot of other options besides that and the 27mm f2.8, which I do own, and that autofocus is almost as bad as the 56mm f1.2 APD lens used to be. It's as bad. I put it this way: it's as bad as the X100V or 6. If this lens is out of your budget, maybe look at the 18 to 50 that just came out. And it starts at f2.8 out aperture at 18mm, and it goes up to 50 at f4, I think it is, or 4.8. But it wouldn't be a bad lens. The kit lens wouldn't be bad to start off on filming until you could get into this one. I would hold off on any of the other maybe the 23mm f2. Let me digress. I digress. If the 23mm f2, if you can work with that focal length, being that it's going to be more like a 35mm instead of a 27mm, that's a great lens to use too. I've used my 35 f2 to film with, and it's fine. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this video. I hope this new mic setup works. Hope I don't have to film all this over again. I'm gonna have to cut this down because I ramble too much. But thanks for watching. I'm going to be making a few videos here. I'm getting ready to head out to LA again. I'm trying to decide if I'm taking the ZF or the XT5. I think I'm taking the ZF and my vintage lenses, but we shall see. And yeah, that's it for me. That's it for this week. Catch me on the next one, and I will holla at you later. Peace.